the public relations side, this idea of Joe Paterno taking himself away from the conversation, creating himself above the conversation, ultimately came back to get him, because I don't think he understood or frankly cared what the criticism was. He had insulated himself from that criticism many years ago.
So let me go back to two other points before we wrap this up. One is, again, I'll read from your blog. Paterno never had to work that hard. And when you say that hard, you paint a picture of how even coaches to this day, recognizable coaches in college football like Les Miles and Nick Saban, understand the value of every time they're talking to the press, or the need to go out there and sell their programs by using the media. You say Paterno never had to work that hard from a communication standpoint. For the media covering Penn State, a large part of their job was to appease Joe. So when you say the coach is king era is over, let's make this analogous to any exalted ruler, so to speak, in any business. Let me use Steve Jobs, for example. He's gone now, of course, but he was the exalted ruler, the face of Apple. And I would disagree when you take it to other industries that Steve Jobs didn't necessarily have to work harder, but he did have to work smarter because of social media, because the conversations were going on. There was value, or there is value, in having the people that are using your products and services or consuming your brand or talking about you. There's value in those conversations that are out there, and all you really need to do is foster those conversations as a baseline, don't you?
Well, certainly. You look at brand advocates now as the big buzz term, as the people talking on social media. And Steve Jobs or some other CEOs you could look at did a good job of creating a relationship where these brand advocates, because of Twitter, because of Facebook, felt a connection to Microsoft or Steve Jobs. So therefore they spoke kindly about him. They became brand advocates because of this mediated relationship they had with Steve Jobs. And if you look at the antithesis of that with Joe Paterno, he did not need the media to be his brand advocates. Right. In the sense of Penn State football, that was Joe Paterno. He was the brand. He was also the brand for the academic side. So he didn't need to make friends. Steve Jobs or other corporate executives in a much more competitive marketplace, they've got to make friends so their brand advocates speak well on Twitter or Facebook for them.